Today we're going to talk about using filters in landscape photography, and I'm also going to tell you how to get some great discounts on some filters. For landscape photographers, other than your tripod and your camera and obviously your lenses, filters is the next most important thing you can have. And you can get a wide range of filters, from UV to circular polarizer to graduated filters. So the first filter I'm going to discuss is a UV filter. Now this is very much Marmite for some people. Some people like to use them, some people don't. They were very useful in film photography for cutting glare, getting rid of reflections. Now in the digital age, they're not as useful. You've got coatings on your lenses that do exactly that, they filter out the UV. So why would you put a UV filter on the front of your lens? Well, the main reason is for protection. And I think that's probably the reason why 90% of photographers put a UV filter on the front of the lens. It's to protect that lens and just make sure if you drop your lens, hopefully the UV filter will take the impact. It stops dust and grime getting onto your lens as well. Especially doing seascape, you get the sea spray. That's all going to hit the cheap UV filter or the cheaper UV filter, protecting your lens itself and hopefully prolonging the life of it. Now, obviously it's got its downsides. If you're putting a bit of glass in front of your lens, you might think, well, I've just bought this expensive piece of glass. Why am I then going to put a cheaper piece of glass or polycarbonate or whatever in front of it that might degrade the picture? Well, that's why some people choose not to use it. So it's really down to personal preference whether to put a UV filter on or not. Now today I've got a Gobe UV filter on, and I'm going to take that off now and I'm going to put my next filter on, which is one I would say is really important in landscape photography. The next filter I'm going to put on is the circular polarizer. Now, the reason this is really important in landscape photography is it's the one filter that you cannot replicate in post-production, not 100% anyway. Now a circular polarizer, what that does is that cuts down the glare, it gets rid of reflections, and it can also make grass and sky more vibrant. So it's really good to have in your bag, and it's just an essential thing for landscape photographers to use. So I'm going to take a few shots now, simple shot, nothing special. This is just to show the polarizer. I'm going to use a bit of a composition using a rock down here. I'm going to take it with the polarizer on using the Gobe polarizer. Now I would say that the circular polarizer, in my opinion, is the must-have filter in any landscape photographer's bag. As I said before, it's the one filter that you cannot reproduce in post-production. You cannot cut through that glare in post-production. You can lower the highlights, you can raise the contrast a little bit and cut a little bit of the glare out, but you won't reproduce the quality of using a polarizer filter. And that leads me on to my next set of filters, which is ND grads. Now these come in all shapes and sizes, and what these do is they cut out a certain amount of light coming through to your lens to allow for longer shutter speeds, which is fantastic for landscape photographers, especially in a scene like this where you can capture the long trails of the water coming out. So these come in different measurements of the amount of stops, the amount of light that it filters out from the lens itself. So a 2-stop filter would filter out 2 stops of light, and a 10-stop filter would filter out 10 stops of light. A 10-stop will give you a longer shutter speed and give you that real ethereal feel to your images, smoothing out that water and just making it look really calm and smooth. And a lot of landscape photographers go for that and really like that. I'm going to run through using the Gobe 6-stop filter and also the Gobe 10-stop filter to show you the differences, just stopping the difference in the faux stops of light. So as you may have seen before, I've used a Gobe 10-stop in almost all my videos. I absolutely love it. So I thought, rather than me doing the rest of the video with the 10-stop filter, which you've seen me do many a time, I'm going to use my glamorous assistant Matthew, and he's going to use both the 6-stop filter and the 10-stop. So first of all, Matthew's using the Gobe 10-stop filter, and we've got Charlie's Garden here with the rocks leading up to it, and we've got some lovely movement in the water. Now 10-stop will take out most of that movement, and to be fair, for this kind of scene, I probably want to capture the motion here more rather than smooth it all out. So we're going to use the 10-stop, show you what it's like, and then also use the 6-stop just to see the difference in the smoothness of the water and also what we get through light-wise in the waves. Now obviously filters come in different sizes and also in different shapes. We're using screw-on filters here, and you can also use a drop-in system. The benefit of the drop-in system is that it's easier to change the lenses. One of the things with screw-on filters is it just sometimes takes a while to get the thread matching so you can screw it on properly. And that takes time, and sometimes time is crucial, especially when you're doing scenes like this and the tide's going out. With the drop-in filter systems, they are far more expensive. You can sometimes pay £100, £200, even more for one piece of glass. So when experimenting with different filters, I've settled on Gobe. I've found the quality for the price is absolutely fantastic, and that's why I've used them for at least the last year now, and I find it absolutely fantastic. One thing I would say when using a 10-stop filter is get a little cap, a little cover for the back of your viewfinder and cover that up. Now these are really cheap, it's a couple of pounds, and it stops light leaking through the viewfinder, because you might also find with some cameras and with some lenses that when taking long exposures especially, you get a little magenta line and it can ruin a picture. I've often had to go to black and white when I forgot to put the filter on or I haven't had it with me. And you can still see the difference where the magenta strip has gone across, so it's not ideal. I've tried cheaper filters in the past and they've just been no good at all. They've had serious colour cast, degraded the image, and you just can't pull that back in post. Whereas the Gobe filters, I've found that for the price range, the image is absolutely fantastic. I've used them religiously for the last year and I would swear by them. I've never had any issues at all. And I'm excited to announce that they're also offering a 15% discount for the Landscape Photography on YouTube UK Facebook group. If you would like that 15% discount, simply join the group, check the About section. In there, we've got a section for member offers, and you'll find various offers, including 15% off Gobe filters. So as the tide's going out, we've decided to come further along the coastline in order to keep the water as part of the image. Now we're still using the 10-stop filter. We found that works better with the scene, using it, get a bit of motion in the clouds, smooth the water out. I think it makes for a good image. Now with the 10-stop filter, obviously you can't see through it, so you can't focus, you can't work out your exposure, and most cameras only go to 30 seconds without going into bulb mode anyway. So what we do is, without the filter on, we work out the correct shutter speed for that, get the correct exposure, focus the image, then put it into manual focus. This will stop the camera from searching for focus whilst you've got the filter on. You can also use back button focus, which I use, and you get your focus right, and you don't need to change into manual or anything, you just work from there because it's not changing the focus as you're pressing down. Well, that's a different topic altogether. So you put your filter on, and from that point you have to work out the correct exposure time. Now there are many apps for this, but I use the Lee Big Stopper app. And what this does is you dial in the exposure that you need, and that will give you the correct time for the exposure that you require. So at the moment, as I say, we're using the sea as a leading line with the rocks as well, and I think we're getting exposure of around about 5 minutes 20. So we're going to take that now, and I'll show you what we've got.
It's locked.
So that's it from me, Matthew. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, comment below if this has been useful, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And like I said before, go to the group Landscape Photography on YouTube UK, check the About section, and you can get a 15% discount on Gobe filters. And until next time, I'll see you later. A 10-stop can allow for longer shutter speeds and give that real ethereal... Is it ethereal? What? Ethereal. 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 Ethereal.